Welcome to another episode of Your Voice Matters. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy Sunday. I am your girl, Viv, with Preferred Real Estate Brokers selling the American Dream here in Central Florida. So today is Sunday. Happy Sunday to you guys. I hope you guys have had an awesome Sunday today in church. Pastor was preaching some good service, but it's a great day to be alive. Every day we get up, it's a gift, and we have to know that it's a gift. I am here in Central Florida, and every day is a gift. And every day to God, we give the glory. We thank God that we woke up today. We thank God for everything. It's about Him, it's not about us. But I am here today. Happy Sunday to everyone. I have my girl Beverly on here. She's a realtor with Preferred Real Estate Broker. And I have one of my favorite mortgage lender on here, which is Michelle Freeney. So
Hi,
today,
Michelle.
Hi, Bev. Hi, Viv.
hey, welcome, girls. So today we're going to be talking about something that dear to my heart. I was talking to my aunt today to ask her, tell her my show today was going to be about getting your asset in order for the end of life, end of days. And she said to me, how do you know when you're going to die? I said, it's not about how do you know when you're going to die? It's not about you dying. I said, it's about getting yourself ready because it's inevitable and we know we're going to die. So why not get yourself ready? I was talking to her about I talked to my mom today too, as well. She was talking about, getting the house ready. She and my brother shares the deed and the title on the house. So she was talking about what happened when she passed on or what happened when he passed on, what will happen. So, but it's to know that ahead of time. So today we're on here. Michelle's going to be talking about reverse mortgage, a little bit about reverse mortgage. Beverly's going to be talking about the Lady Bird deed and title, so we're going to be talking about that. But the thing is, a lot of time we don't get ourselves ready. We don't get ourselves prepared, knowing that I just came from a funeral on Saturday, and then I was supposed to go to another one at the end of the month, but I'm going to be away, so I'm not going to be able to go to that. But my mom will go to that, and maybe my sister might go to it. But just to think that two person died in the same family and in the same week, and a lot of time we just live day to day, and we don't prepare for the end, and knowing that eventually, if you're born, you're going to die, and the Bible tells you that. You're going to die regardless. So why not get ourselves ready and get ourselves prepared? I had a friend of mine. She's a dear friend of mine, and she's been a dear friend of mine since I came to Florida. And she passed away. And it's amazing how I didn't know, but all of a sudden somebody was calling me, and they were telling me she wanted me. She already planned her funeral, and she had me in the funeral and tell me, and the person told me what she wanted me to do. Just to think that she planned all of that. She planned who to read the eulogy. She planned who to say a Bible verse. She planned everything. And that was and every time September come, because she was born in September as well, I always remember, just to think that she had everything all planned, and she pulled all these dignitaries together. I remember, there was a property appraiser from Orange County was there, and we kept the funeral. We kept the funeral. It was in Eatonville, in the Eatonville church, where one of my girlfriend goes. But just to think that she had that plan. So it is for us to plan. Even when I went to the funeral on Saturday, that lady already had her funeral plan. She already had where she was going to be buried. She already had all of that stuff. She died in New York, but she wanted to be buried in Florida. And that's exactly what happened. So this is just going to be discussing with you about what to do. Get yourself ready. Get yourself ready, because, one way or another, we're going to pass on. So why are we going to leave burdens behind, for our family member? My mom already has everything all planned, where she already gave me a package and says, if when something happened, this is who you need to call, because she already had that plan. But I was talking to my aunt, but my aunt is one of them that she don't like to plan stuff like that, but you got to plan it, because the thing is, all her family, all her kids are in Canada. So if something happens to her, it's like, if something happened to you, who do we call? Okay, which one of your daughters do we call?
Call
Okay,
Vivian.
she's got 3 of them, and she's got a whole bunch of grandkids, so you got to get that stuff ready and get that stuff set up. But But we're gonna start off with Beverly talking about the ladybird, ladybird deed. And I just learned about this last week, and I did a little research on it as well. I just learned about this last week. But for me, I think it's something awesome to do, because Beverly's going to be talking about that. It's for it's a deed or a title that you take, that you still have control of your property. Like with me, my property is inside of a trust. So if anything happens to me, then the trust, my daughter is assigned to the trust. But you always have to get yourself ready. So let's jump right in Beverly, and let's start talking about, explain to the audience, what is a ladybird deed?
Okay, so what is a ladybird deed, you may ask? The ladybird deed in Florida is a legal document that transferred property upon death inexpensively and without probate. That's the key there, without probate. A ladybird deed allows the current property owner to be in control of the property, meaning that the property is still his or hers, not with anybody. If she owns it alone, if she owns it with her husband or with a child or what have you, it still would remain that. But at death, it passes over to any beneficiary that you designate to have the property after death. Just like if, for example, I went down to the courthouse to transfer my house to my son. But of course, I have a mortgage, so they want me to pay stamp duties on it, just like when you purchase a property. And I said no, and that would be probably about $1,500. And I said, no, I'm not going to pay that. Then I was telling my girlfriend about it, and she said, hey, there's something called ladybird deed where it doesn't cost you anything but this to take it to the courthouse and pay probably about $10 to record the deed.
Mm-hmm.
But there are lots of lawyers out there. If you go online, you can find lots of lawyers and the forms and how to do it. I am going to do mine. My lawyer she's going to charge me $250 to do it, as opposed to $1,500. And the great thing about it is that I can do anything with my property. I can borrow on it. I can do anything. But if I transfer it through another kind of deed, what do we call that now?
You're talking about put like in a
claim. If I transfer it through a claim deed,
mm-hmm.
What happened? And I designate somebody else with me on the deed, that means the property really doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to me and whomever. So if I want to borrow money on it or anything, or to take something from equity,
But that's a quick claim deed. Why it's a quick claim deed? Why would you quick claim your house to somebody though?
That's a good thing. That's a good question.
Why wouldn't you put it inside of a trust or something? Why would you take your deed up and quick claim it to somebody else?
People do that because of especially if they're on Medicaid.
Okay.
What they do, they transfer it to somebody else, that if they get sick in their later years, the property doesn't belong to them, so they can't use that to pay for a nursing home. You see, so that's the advantage of that. But with the ladybird deed, of course, I think there's a clause from Medicaid. If you're on Medicaid, I'll have to read upon that to find out what the clause is on. If you're on Medicaid, you can still do a ladybird deed and still not having to pledge your property
So
for.
with the ladybird deed, can you do you need an attorney, or can somebody just go ahead and do it on their own?
Well, if you get the form, you can go do it on your own, but I wouldn't advise to do it a legal document on your own, unless, of course, you know the law
You know, because
that
I mean,
that covers
even with a quick claim deed, anybody
covers
can
that.
do a quick claim deed. You know, all they have to do is fill out the documents online and go to
Yeah.
the courthouse and record it.
Well, you can also do that with a ladybird deed, but as I said, I would prefer to pay the $250.
Which is not bad.
I don't know how much these people charge, these lawyers, but if they can go on Google and they can see many people, they can download the form, they can fill it out themselves, or a lawyer may walk them through it and charge them a little bit of money, but it's worth it. It's really worth it to have it done properly.
And it's something that you plan on doing eventually.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I think I may just doing it tomorrow. Start doing it. No more. My lawyer is in Miami, but I'll just send her the information. Go look up the deed and forward it to her.
Yeah, because they were talking about ladybird deed versus quick claim deed.
Mhm.
Yeah, on that I was reading up on. So, but with the quick claim deed, just like I said, you're quick claiming your deed to somebody instead of just putting it in, doing a ladybird deed on it.
Right.
You still have control over the property, because you don't really want to lose control of your property.
Exactly.
And my daughter has my estate. So, but if something happened, like she was buying a house, or she's buying a house, then I have to write a letter and says that I'm the one that makes the mortgage payment on the house, even though it's in a trust and she's the one that controls the trust. So I was but it was an attorney that did that for me. It wasn't much. He charged, I think it was $10 to register it down at the courthouse or something like that.
Yes, that's about what to do it at the courthouse.
So it wasn't much at all to register it, and to pay $250, just like you said, to get the legal, get it done properly. It's not a bad price, because that means he's probably $250 an hour, so they just charge.
And you can sleep well knowing that when you pass, the property pass along.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to do with it is their business, whether they want to sell it or whatever they want to do with it, but the deed passes to them.
But it goes back to say you got to get your asset and get everything in order. Slate it out everything so it doesn't cost. When you have kids and you have grandkids, don't leave it behind for them to know, because it's like they're learning. I remember when my daughter was growing up and she I was filing my taxes, and she would say, "Oh, I don't want to grow up because I don't want to file taxes," because it becomes a burden. It becomes a burden for people to be doing that. So everyone that is in the sound of my voice that's listening, making sure that you get your estate in order, making sure that you have maybe burial insurance. Don't leave everything on your family to plan, and then funeral is so expensive. A casket is anywhere from $30,000. But I remember having Miss Rosemary Roth on the talk. She's eventually going to come back, because she's an end of life doula. That means she plans funeral, and she tells you, she said that there is grants or whatever you can go get in order to get, to be buried and stuff like that. But it's just like with me being a realtor, a lot of people don't know where to find the money, where to find the grant, or find the lenders that can help you to find the grant. And I have Michelle.
I wish she would come back.
She's going to be coming back. So I'm going to schedule her to come back, but have Michelle on here, which is going to be talking about, different kind of lending option, because there's so many lending options out there that you don't know. I always tell people, find a lender that can help you to find the money trail. And Michelle is going to be, doing little tidbits on reverse mortgage and, why we should and stuff like that. But
really,
I took she was on a podcast this week, and it was so interesting just to learn that. So I wanted her to actually come on today and say a little bit about it, and I'll have her speak in a little bit and introduce herself. But getting your plans in order is important. Getting your finance, getting your health in order, making sure people know what to do. I have a will. I got two different will. I have a dead will and I have a living will. Okay, what do you do when I'm alive? What do you do? Okay, so I when I reached the age of 50, I was kind of scared to say, okay, what happened if I die? What will happen? What will happen? So all my grandkids, I got 6 grandkids, y'all. All my grandkids will get equal amount of whatever life insurance that I left behind. So everybody gets their own, part of money. That I remember the attorney was sitting me down and asked me, how do I divide it? I says it's 6 of them, and then my daughter, so that's 6, 7, 8. Okay, so divide it 8 times. Okay, each of them get their little whatever it is that they get, so nobody's jealous of each other. So making sure that don't wait and says, well, just like my aunt is saying, who knows when you're gonna die? Exactly. Who knows?
Exactly.
Who
That's
knows when
the
you're gonna
key.
die? So that's the key
Yeah.
to making sure that you get everything and you get everything in order and prepare everything. Don't wait, because you're not promised tomorrow. You're not promised
Exactly.
tomorrow. You're not promised to wake up tomorrow. So make sure that if you passed away, if somebody knows what to do, because it's mind blowing just to think that you got up, you didn't wake up this morning and you die in your bed. What do you do when you're there? Do you call 911? You know what I'm saying? What happened if I text Beverly and Beverly didn't text me back? What happened if I text Michelle and Michelle didn't text me back? Does somebody know? And that's why I started this text in the morning, because when COVID hit, so many people died from COVID.
Yes.
Okay, and still dying from COVID, because I'm still getting messages from nurses that says people are dying from COVID and being dying from COVID. And then you're texting people and they didn't text back, knowing that they can't text back. So we got to make sure that you have your power of attorney in order. Okay, you got to make sure you have your living will, your trust, whatever it is that you need to have. You need to make sure that you have all of those in order. What do you say about that, Beverly?
I say that's an excellent concept.
Yeah.
Yes.
Burial arrangement.
Everybody should make preparation for death, not just as in life, because death is a sure thing. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but my golly, it's going to happen.
Yep.
It's going to.
It's going to happen.
It's appointed for men to die. You live and you die.
Yep. So let's get ourselves ready. So I have my dear friend Michelle on here. She's just been a dear friend and supported whatever it is that I'm doing. She's always popping in to, give me an update on mortgage stuff. She'll send me stuff. But Michelle, I thank you for being in my life. I thank you that you're there to always asking me what I need. And today I'm going to have you touch on the reverse mortgage, to help people that are struggling. Okay, when they reach to the end of life, they're struggling, and sometimes they have so much equity inside their home, and there's money inside the home, and they don't know how to go about it because they've heard so much negativity about the reverse mortgage. So I'm going to have you touch on that and touch on the main points, why you think people that maybe if they have a family and they don't want to do it, but why you think they should do it, are the ones that doesn't have a family, why you think it's a good thing to do.
Yes. Well, good evening, Viv. Good evening.
Good evening, Michelle.
My 2 Jamaican queens on here. We're not discriminating.
Big up.
We do have Jamaican blood, right? So so good to be on here on Your Voice Matters. Thank you, Viv, also for being a voice for the community and talking about a variety of topics that are on our minds, and your dedication, commitment of doing things. I don't know how you do it, but thank you for this platform. I've been on here, like you said, a few times, and it's always a pleasure. Always learn something, and just the networking is just always an awesome thing. So in regards to home equity or reverse mortgages, let me first backtrack. So for those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Michelle Freeney. I am a mortgage loan originator with Movement Mortgage, and I do what we call forward mortgages, basically. So your purchases, whether they're FHA, USDA, Fannie or Freddie, conventional If you're looking at buying a second home, a vacation home, or rental property, I am the one to come to. I also offer, my company, I should say, they offer reverse mortgages. So that's not my wheelhouse, but I know enough to be dangerous, if you will. So I'm looking at learning more and learning with everyone as I invite them, into this new world. We just had well, it's not a new world, but for me, it's a new world. So reverse mortgages have been around since the mid 80s. And I went into banking. I was a personal banker back in the 80s. And that was my first time hearing about this product. But I thought, oh God, I mean, this is for retirement, folks. And I was a long way from retirement. So I never really dwelled into it. So fast forward, from the mid 80s to 2023, I'm really interested in this product. And it is a product that Movement Mortgage offers also. So as Viv mentioned earlier, we had a great Zoom call last week, and I had Movement Mortgage's national reverse mortgage director on the line, Harlan Nicola, and we had a great turnout, didn't we, ladies? About 20 people.
Oh, yes, we did.
Great engagement and so forth. And so what we're trying to do at Movement, and what now I have taken on myself, especially as I enter close to my retirement years, is to look at all of the retirement resources that are available to us, all of the assets, all the retirement income strategies. What are they? They might be right under our nose and we don't know it. And the equity in our homes is one of them. So I don't know if you ladies remember, Harlan wrote a book called Home Equity and Reverse Mortgages, the Cinderella of the Baby Boomer Retirement.
We're waiting on that book.
Yes, and you guys will be getting your copy. Once I get them in, I did order them. But he mentioned in the first chapter, let's take a guess. I don't know if anyone's on the show or not, but let's just, those who are on, what do you think is the amount of money stored in home equity nationwide, that total dollar amount? How much do you think that is?
Billions of dollars.
With a T. Trillions.
Or was it trillions?
With a T.
Exactly. So in Harlan's book, yeah, it's not millions, it's not billions. You hit it, ladies. It's trillions.
Trillions with a big T.
T as in Tom. T as in
Yes, T as in Tom. Trillions.
Oh, T
a big T.
A T, trillion.
Mm-hmm.
Moolah that's tied up in our home equity nationwide. At the time of the publication of the book, it was 6 trillion. I think this book was written in, let's see, the last publication was 2018. So it's now 2023. From the publication, that number has moved from 6 trillion to, it's doubled, $12 billion in stored equity. That's sitting unused. So that is money that we have paid into the largest purchase, the largest asset many of us have, right? So about 30% of our income goes toward our housing expense, one being, of course, our mortgages, right? And so we pay that 10, 15, 20, 30 years. So when you retire, guess what? That's money you put into this asset to pay. When you pay it off, guess what? You can take that money back. Take that money back. So that's where we're trying to educate folks that look at this as an investment, not just have it just sit there as a retirement, and this is as a strategy to take it back to increase your livelihood and your cash flow at your end of life. So 3 major things. So what is a reverse mortgage? So a reverse mortgage is basically that, you're taking out the equity, you're not paying a monthly payment, you're actually receiving money. So it becomes a negative amortized product. It is a loan. It's a loan that does accrue interest, but the amount of the loan is not due until the party's death. And then it becomes doable. And you can talk to however you want to get this done. You can take your money out as when you're alive, of course. You can take your money out as a lump sum. You can take it out as monthly payments, or you can take it out as a HELOC and make draws on it. So what are the eligibility requirements of a reverse mortgage? You have to be of a certain age, 162, or 55 in some states, but the majority age is 62 in most states. You have to also live in the house. It has to be owner occupied. And to take advantage of not making payments, you have to have some equity in the home. So starting at 40% and up, 40 to 60%. And so this is a time for you to say, you know what, I paid all my life into this asset. You can leave it to your kids, of course, and you can still leave it to your kids. But what you want to do is, and what we at Movement do, we want to first bring in the party that's interested in the loan with their family members, so they're not caught unawares when, you know, mom or grandma dies. And then of course your financial dream team, you know, your trust advisor, your CPA, your financial planner, what have you. That is a discussion that is had amongst all those parties. Where least case scenario, have, you know, yourself and your family, so that everyone knows, and so you can look at what this product is. Is it beneficial for what you want to do? And then, you know, go from there. We'll look at the numbers and look at what it would look at like for you, and how you would want to draw and utilize the money. The reason why it's gotten such a bad rap, especially in Black and brown communities, is that you did have some handed things going on. It's not the product. You don't know how many people I asked when we had that call, ladies. Hey, you know, do you want to join a call just to learn about reverse mortgages, if anything, education wise, just to educate and arm yourself, so you know, and you can share. No. I've heard
No, because it has a bad rep.
Yep, they say no. I don't want to hear about it. You know, it's bad rep. My grandmother lost her house. You know, and you know, it's not a good product, because people do not know what kind of product it is, and unfortunately, some were taken advantage of. This product is not the product that's bad. It's an FHA product. A reverse mortgage is a HUD product. It's an FHA product. It's a product also that requires, before you even sign any documentation, that you have to go through, like first-time home buyer programs like that Viv teaches. You have to go through a reverse mortgage class. Everyone has to take a reverse mortgage class required by HUD.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know that you have to take. It educates you then. I had no idea that you had to take a home buyers class and a HUD class in order about reverse mortgage. That's pretty cool.
That's a HUD class. I think it's just a HUD class you have to take for the reverse mortgage, not a home buyers class.
Right. So what I was saying, Bev, is that like a home buyers class, that requires first time home buyer counseling courses. Same with the reverse mortgage. Yes, because the reverse mortgage is a HUD loan. It is a FHA loan. The reverse mortgage is a FHA loan, basically. And so you have to take a class first. And from there, you know, you could go on and just, you know, sign the documents and so forth. But it is a product that, you know, I think went over a lot of people's head, you know, and that, you know, the understanding just wasn't there a lot in our communities. And we have a lot of folks in our communities that were ashamed to tell their families that they took out this product, because the negative stigma with Black and white is that you need money. So with some populists that are cash strapped, you don't want to let your family know, hey, maybe I don't have enough money. I didn't, you know, manage my money well. I have to get this product. That could be looked at one avenue. And on the other spectrum, with other families that have, you know, high liquidity, they're looking at this product as a stigma, because I don't need money. And so I don't need it. I don't need the product. But for folks that have high liquidity, there's some tax advantages there, which, you know, we'll have someone else on the line to talk about that. But the bottom line is, and to this point, this needs to be a discussion to find out and to learn what you can do at life's end to have your assets in order. Have them in order. So this is a product that works both for folks that are cash strapped or that have money. It's an asset that you can turn into liquidity.
You know, there are some things that I still don't understand. For example, if you have a mortgage on your house, you know, and of course you have the equity side of it, how does that work? Because when I'm hearing the conversation about this, they talk about if you own nothing on your house, you know, what you can do with the equity that's built up. What if you owe a mortgage? You have built up equity, yes, but you have part of it, of the part of the value of the property is in mortgage. How would that work with?
It's a good question, Bev. You know, what I would like, you and Vivian were on the call. Anyone that's listening to, we can do one-on-one consultations. You know, as I mentioned first, educate first, and then go over numbers so that you understand and what the scenario is. So I mentioned earlier what the eligibility requirements are for the reverse mortgage, right? You have to be 62 or 55 in some states. You have to have, it have to be owner occupied, and you have to have some equity in your home. And so let me go back to, because I didn't finish either. So how it was really negatively perceived in our communities is that even though you had to take a class, you still had some misunderstanding or not knowing what you needed to do. Or if you were cash strapped, which is a part of the education piece initially, even with you not paying your mortgage, which is the case when you do a reverse mortgage, you are not going to pay your mortgage, right? But you are responsible for your taxes and your insurance and any HOA. So a lot of times in our communities, the mortgage was not paid, but the taxes and insurance weren't paid either. Were arrears. And so when that person died, when our mother or grandmother or father passed away, and the family is coming thinking, oh, we have the house, and they find out about this reverse mortgage, they can't pay the taxes and arrears, or no one is in the family is prepared to pay off the balance. Because remember, as I said earlier, it is a loan, but it's a deferred loan that accrues interest that becomes due when the party dies. So let's say I have a reverse mortgage, I pass away, and then, okay, guess what? I've used that asset as accrued interest. I have to pay off the balance. And so the balance is paid off either by, as Viv said, you have to have a will, whoever your executor is, that's going to make sure that your wishes are met. You're going to have the equity from your home, all right, providing that there is equity in your home, and there should be, right, to pay off what that reverse mortgage balance is, and the difference will go amongst your heirs. But if you want to keep the house, then the reverse mortgage balance has to be paid, and then refinance or whatever that balance is, either paid in cash or refinanced by a party member, but they walk in to having that equity. Now, let's say if the reverse mortgage balance is due and the mortgage or the appreciation wasn't there and the market value is upside down, that's when the mortgage company keeps the house. It's non-recourse, which means, the lender is not going to come after your heirs or your estate. The bank just keeps it and everyone walks away. And then it's a win-win. So this is dear to me too now, because I learned that my grandmother had a reverse mortgage. I didn't know it because my father and his sister, so my sister at the time of my grandmother's death, they got a good portion of money left that I saw some later when my dad unfortunately died not shortly after. So I'm thinking, it was just money from the house and split amongst his sibling. But it was. The house appreciated so much that they were able to pay off the reverse mortgage. And then the difference, the profit, was split between his and his sister. So let's do a number example, or an example with numbers. So let's say you took out your point, Beverly, because you asked a question about equity. You have to have equity. You have to have equity.
Oh, yes, that I understand. You must have equity, yes.
So 40 to 60%, right? Those numbers for your individual situation or whoever is, they're going to look at, okay, how much equity you have, and what can you take out maximum. You're never going to take out all of it, because then the bank would own it, and that's not what the
But the part I do not understand, Michelle, is the part where they said you don't pay your mortgage. What happened to that? Remember, you still owe that part of it.
Right. You take it's reverse mortgage, and you don't pay the monthly payment. You're
not paying the bank the monthly payment.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
And,
but you're still owing it.
right. Yeah. Okay. And then, but it comes due, Bev, when you die. So the house is either sold, and it's sold with paying, and the proceeds paying off that loan that came due when that parties die.
And the balance that is left over, that's what, when you say your mom, that's what the balance will go to the family, because
Yes.
if the house appreciates,
Yes.
so they will take their money from that.
Exactly. And let's say, for example, where let's say there is nothing left over, it's a recourse loan. The bank will just keep the house,
The
basically
house.
anything.
Makes
So
sense, Beverly?
you got that? So that's so it's a loan, but it's a deferred loan. So you're right. Right.
Just like how if you were going to college and you got out of college money to go to college, and the bank and they decide they're going to defer it, and you don't have to pay it until then, but you still owe it, but they're just deferring it.
Mm-hmm.
And the bank, it will agree to that
Yeah.
you're not going
That's
to pay.
What they have, because they have to, because it's a reverse mortgage, and there's a lot of people that have reverse mortgage, so that means there's a lot of bank that agree to it.
Right. That's what the product is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the product is. It's designed. Now, if you want to make a payment on it, you can, but it's designed that you do not have to make the mortgage payment. So basically your equity that you've stored up is allowing for the bank to defer that, but it does come due when that party dies. Yeah. And so it's a matter of, what you and your family wants. I know one thing Harlan said, would you rather give a gift with a warm hand or with a cold hand? Okay.
A cold hand, of course.
The warm hand, you get to dictate. like
with a cold hand. So, Michelle.
Cold hand. Well, I would rather know what I'm doing, because just think about these stars that died with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Who was it? Aretha Franklin, Michael Jackson, all died without wills and had to
All die intestate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this part of taking control while you're warm.
Yeah.
Deciding what you want to do with your money. So one thing about this, and so if you take this money in a lump sum, Bev, the assets that you have, you could do anything you want to it. And one of the conversation pieces should be with your family and your loved ones, but you first, so that's your money. What do you want to do with it?
I would put some of it
Want
in
to
a
go buy a
mutual
new
fund.
car? A new car.
I need a new car, but I would put some of it in a mutual fund. Like, for example, I'm not paying my mortgage. Half of that would go in the mutual fund every month.
For Chun Chun.
If I chun
Her grandson, is she talking about one of her grandsons?
Chun and the rest of them.
But
But of course, Chun Chun would get the most.
of it though, Bev, you decide while you're alive what you want to do with it. And really you should be doing smart things, being wise with it. Invest it, right? Let it pay toward maybe some long-term care expenses.
And I would go on some trips.
Your cash flow. Yeah, if you just
go
buy
take some trip.
into the property. So you can take that money and buy a house cash. So that's what actually Harlan did, the director of reverse mortgages of Movement. He took out whatever, his $400,000. He bought a home in Florida. And guess what? That's cash, so that's no mortgage. And then his owner occupied, he returned that into a reverse mortgage, and he's not paying any mortgage on it. Just the taxes and insurance. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And so that's what he did with his. So the wisdom part of us being kingdom builders, right, is doing something wise with. Another example, he said, you know what? Why don't you give a portion of that money to your grandchildren now? Have them, let it be a down payment for their home, so you can start that general wealth building and education.
Yeah. Generational wealth.
Yeah.
And just like she said, just like Michelle said, Beverly, you can go take trips. You can buy yourself a new car because you're not worrying about it. The only thing that is, okay, so let's say you were paying $1,000 in mortgage for the month. Then you don't have to pay that $1,000, but you'll be getting money. You just have to worry about paying your insurance once a year and your taxes once a year and your HOA whenever your HOA is due. So therefore, you're saving that money, and you can go live a better life compared to living the way you're living, house poor, because you have all that equity and you're not really using the equity inside the house. Of course, you might have to talk to your your son about it, talk to your family about it, let your family know, what you're doing, and and they can't argue with you. It's your house. You can do what you want to do with it. You're the one that making the mortgage payment right now. You're the
Yes.
one that's struggling right now, that maybe need a new car, or
I need a brand new car.
you want to go take a mission trip around the world, something like that.
And
So
I want to go on missions.
right, exactly. So do it now. Do it now.
Going on my
do it now
missions
before you're alive, before you die.
spread
You're
the
warm
gospel.
now before you get cold. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, so there's some options, as we mentioned. You could take it a monthly payment. Let's say you want $3,000 a month. You could take the lump sum, or you could put it in a line of credit, the lump sum, and then draw down on it as you need it. You don't have to use all of it. So there's all kind of options.
I'm not going to put my money in the bank.
Mm-hmm. All things.
I'm putting just a little bit to live on. I probably won't even need anything because I'd be getting other payments. So
Right.
all that would go in a mutual fund. So guess what? They would get it.
Yeah.
They would get it when I'm gone.
Yeah. So basically, you're doing what you want to do with your money while you're alive. So a good example. Let me give you the numbers. So let's say your home is worth, I don't know, $800,000. I'm just throwing that out there. You take a reverse mortgage for $400,000, and you decide out of those options that we just discussed which one you want. Okay. And let's say you live for another 15, 20 years. Okay. So at the time you took it out, right? You took out 400,000, but your home was worth 800,000. But when you pass, the loan becomes due, right? So that 400,000 is going to accrue interest. So let's say the interest and the fees and the commissions and all that stuff that when you have to sell it comes to 100,000. So that money that you borrowed that was deferred is now 500,000. But the property when you did this was 800,000 is now $1 million. So when you pass, that 500,000 balance is called due, and the difference, because the home is worth $1 million, is 500,000, and that's divided amongst your heirs. So that is it's a win-win. You were able to use some of your money, and then your heirs still got some money. Now, if you want to keep the house, in the family, then that's a different story. Then someone needs to be prepared, to pay off.
If they want to keep the house, the house would value $1 million now. So they pay off the 500,000,
Right.
and they're still upside.
Exactly.
Right.
And if let's say the home didn't appreciate anything, let's say the economy is really bad and it was the same balance as let's say it was underwater. Let's say it was 400,000. Worst case scenario, but the balance of the reverse mortgage is 500,000. Well, guess what? The bank just keeps the house, and everyone walks away because it's a non-recourse loan. So that means no one will be responsible for it as far as the heir and the states are concerned. So it's a win-win. No one's going to come after the family.
And you can live your life right now and not worry about because when you die, you're not worrying. Everything is dead.
Because you might be fighting to keep the house, and as you're gone, they sell it. They don't want to live in it.
Or it's that a lot of kids that a lot of parents leave their house to their children, and children don't care. They don't care. They let the grass grow up. I saw there's somebody just called me from Kissimmee and said the mom died, the dad died. Can I see if I can find the owner, one of the daughter in New York? I looked that up. I can't find the daughters, but when I went on the tax record, she owes 2 years in taxes. So she owes $2,600 in taxes. Hey, they're gonna take her house for that. Because there's nobody there to pay the taxes. And here, this good house.
Somebody going to buy that note.
Yeah, somebody's going to buy that note, and eventually they're going to own that house. And because the parents died, and the two of them died, and the house is just sitting there. Grass is high, nobody's taking care of it. So why not make use of whatever it is that you have right now, and if it's money that you need, instead of you here worrying about living paycheck by paycheck and worrying about where the money is coming from. If you have that equity in your house, it's your house, and you want to take the reverse mortgage. Tom Selleck on TV is always advertising a reverse mortgage. I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but he's always advertising.
I got so many letters from different companies. want me to do reverse mortgage with them. I just tear them up and throw them in the garbage.
Because you always have to do it with somebody that you trust, because it's when they send
Yes,
it's not something
yes,
that
yes.
you trust. But if it's somebody that you can actually face to, like
Mhm.
Michelle, you know, it's somebody that we touch every day, we see weekly, we see daily, you know, so then therefore we know, compared to somebody just sending you something in the mail and you don't really know if it's true, and then you go in and all of a sudden you lose your house to them because you didn't know them, you know, compared to doing it with somebody that you actually know.
So, Michelle, how long does this, from the day you apply to you approved and get the funds, how long does that take?
So what I can do, Beverly, I could talk to you. I just put in the chat here. If anyone wants information, to give me a call, and I can definitely share more. We can get together offline and do a consult with one of our trained reverse.
No, I'm not ready. I'm just wanted to just
She's
for
getting
the
herself
benefit
ready.
of others.
Yeah,
Right.
she's getting
You
herself
know, how
ready.
long would the process take?
About 30 days, just to say.
Okay.
So
30 days. Okay.
as a forward mortgage, yes, it's about the
Mhm.
time frame. You know, you have to fill out an application,
Yeah.
and you have to have an appraisal done. It has to be you know, reviewed. The most of the time though is taken with the education piece, you know,
Mhm.
class, as I mentioned, and then the reverse loan officer is spending time to make sure that the borrower understands the product, and then having conversations to, you know, with their loved ones, and financial planner joining as well, so that every
Mhm.
stage that's
And
not rushed.
I like the education part of it, you know, because
Yeah.
that's what happened. When you don't know, you don't know, and that's why you have to get yourself educated. Because a lot of us, no matter, unless you're actually in that field and you study that field every day, you don't really know about it. So you're scared to do something because you don't understand it. But if you understand it and you know it's going to work for you, you'll do it.
Absolutely. So this is a misunderstood product, and a lot of misconceptions. So what our team is trying to do is re-educate all all demographics, you know, because both all demographics have some type of misconception, whether, you know, they have money or not. It's been perceived in a negative light, and it's not the product, like I said, itself. It's how it's presented, and or how it was presented and misunderstood. So that was a great example that you gave, Vivian, about the taxes and arrears. So, and that's why you can sometimes buy property real cheap. You just pay the taxes, whatever the tax lien is, right? Have an asset like that in your family, and no one is prepared to pay what the taxes are in arrears, then yes, then those are the stories. Oh, I've heard, oh, my grandmother lost her house. Bill, what is the real story? Did your grandmother pay the taxes and insurance that were required?
Exactly.
Time frame. So then yes, the house will be lost, but was it really lost? And
Yeah.
so we want to educate the family, or who will be working on your behalf when you pass, that they know, you know, what the scenarios are on, or what needs to be done going forward. That, you know, either we walk away and take the difference, or if someone wants to keep the house and the family, that they have to be prepared, whatever that balance is, to refinance it. Now, if you guys recall, I had a really good friend on the call, Angela Hutton Hall. She's a real estate attorney in Denver. She said she does so many probate courses, probate cases. And she said half the time, she said the kids, in fact, they don't even want the house, like you were saying.
Right.
They don't want the house.
No.
They want the money because they already have their own residence, you know? So why don't you do, if that's the case, use your money while you're warm, and then leave them a little something.
Yeah, it's a burden to a lot of time to leave a house, you know, unless it's by the beach or something like that, you know, to leave a house to a family member, you know, because of course they got to worry about, you know, taking care of it, cutting the grass, you know, all that kind of stuff. They don't want to be burdened with that. A lot of times, just like you said, they own their own house. You know, so, you know, they don't really want to be burdened. And that's why I tell everyone, get yourself ready. Tell your family what you want. Tell your family what is going on. If you're putting your house in reverse mortgage and you need some money to live, go ahead and live. Because a lot of time, you know, I used to go to the supermarket, and hear these stories that, you know, the elderly youth buying cat food to eat because they don't have enough money to live off or eat off. And, you know, a lot of time, you know, you wonder if that thing is true. But, you know, in America, you know, there's a lot of starving people. You know, with the senior citizen, with the medicine, those medicines are so expensive they can't afford to buy the medicine plus eat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you own a house, you know, if it's something that you can do and you don't have to pay the mortgage on it right now, you know, live off that. You know, a lot of people that didn't have money put aside for retirement and stuff like that. Retirement creeps up on you. So, you know, you got to make the best of life, you know, make the best of life. You know, but it's a good thing to consider. And we should be always educating people about it and making sure that they understand enough, you know, so they're not afraid. But what I like is that, you know, you said that there's they give you a class on explaining what it is to you, you know, making sure that you understand it, and making sure the lender make sure that the borrower, you know, the homeowner understand the situation or understand what's going on, because you should not get into something unless you really understand it. You know,
Exactly. Absolutely.
Again, that is a HUD approved class. It has to be a HUD approved class. Yeah.
Right. Right. So that makes it good when it says how to prove, because the home buyers class that I teach, you know, I always tell people it is a HUD approved class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that mean it, you take it, you get your 8 hours, you know, you get your certificate, you go out and find your lender that will work with you in order for you to be able to get some money. And, you know, we talk about, you know, finding the money and stuff like that. This is where you find the money in. If you don't have it right now and you're struggling, this is where you can, you know, find some money. And so many people now, right now, this time right here, 9/17/2023 at 5:51 p.m., you know, so many people have so much equity inside their homes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot, some of them don't have children, some of them don't have
I
nothing.
have over 200,000 equity on my house right now.
Exactly. Same with me. I have you know, around that amount at least. You know, so, you know, sometimes why are we struggling? You know, why aren't we getting educated? You know, so I'm charging, you know, Michelle, I'm charging you to go out there and educate the people, educate the public, you know, put out the information to, you know, maybe hold a class or something like that, where you're able to, you know, invite people on and says, hey, we're going to be talking about the benefits of a reverse mortgage, and it's a HUD approved class, you know, information. So come on and learn about it. You know, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely. It's an option, you know, again. And as Harlan said, you know, he said the vast majority of people can benefit from this at the age of 62. He said he advises the vast majority of folks to go ahead and get a reverse mortgage when they turn 60. Yeah, again, everything is not for everyone. We have to look at the situation.
Right.
But the majority of people can definitely benefit from utilizing this product in their retirement years.
You know,
especially when you're single.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're single, and you know, you have money sitting there, and you're there struggling. You know, you're waiting for you keep watching the mailbox for your pension check or your retirement check or something like that. You know, go like Beverly say, go live. You know, I'm going away this Wednesday. And then I'm also going away in October. I'm going away in November. I'm going away in December. Go live.
Yes.
Go live.
Well, both of you, I want to set up that one-on-one with both of you so you can live some more.
You're taking it and run with it, Michelle.
Yeah. You know, we'll set up that one-on-one so we can
You're running with it.
You know, so I can understand it. You know, so I can go live. It might be for me or it might not be for me, but I'd like to know. I'd like to learn. I'd like to know. You know, I'd like to learn more, because, you know, when it happens to you, then you can tell somebody. Okay. Like you being a lender, Michelle, it's okay and you can explain. But if I actually did it, just like I bought a house, and I can actually explain to someone that I bought a house and this was a process of me buying the house. You bought a car, Beverly. You know, this is the process of me. I bought a car. A lot of time people, I remember my girlfriend that I was telling you about that had her funeral arranged. I remember when I moved into this house, and my daughter, she was always misbehaving. and I was always beating her and stuff like that. So I remember I moved into this house and my girlfriend came up here and she said something to me about Chantel misbehaving or something like that. And I said to her, and I said, never you tell me again until you have a child. Do not tell me how to raise my own. Okay.
That's
because
right.
you don't understand it. So I always remember that. But no matter what, she's always my dear friend. So, we always still got along, even though, but I just tell her that I say, don't tell me how to raise my child until you have one, because it is not something that is easy. So I always remember that with her. So it's like me, if I got the reverse mortgage and then I did the reverse mortgage, and then at least then I can say, okay, I did it. This is how it works. I can explain it a little bit, but you are in it. You're the lender, you're the mortgage person. You know how to explain it. Beverly and I are just learning. That's why we have a lot of questions, because we have not done it. But once we do it and see that it works, then we can explain it better to the next person.
Oh, yeah, and I want that book.
Oh yes,
I have to read that book first.
Yes, they're on order.
Before I can say anything or do anything.
We're gonna be your advocate, Michelle.
Yes,
that's right, Michelle.
Testimonials too. Once you read, get more understanding, then we could do the one-on-one consultations for your individual situations, and then go from there.
Right, exactly.
5%. I'm joking.
Yeah, because everyone, just like when I teach the home buyers classes, 30, 40 people in the class. And I always tell everyone, I said, do not judge yourself. And this person is not you and you is not that person. Everyone's situation, everyone makes a different amount of money. Everyone have a different amount of people in their family. Everyone is different. It's for you to meet with the lender and figure out what it is that you need to do, because your situation, your case is different. You might have student loan and the other person doesn't. You might have 4 kids and the other person has 2. So every situation is different. It's for you to figure out what your situation is by doing a one-on-one, like Michelle says, so you know where you are and get into it. And if it's something that once you finish with the one-on-one and it's something that you figure, this is not for me, then it's okay. No obligation. You walk away, but at least you have done that one-on-one and you have gotten that education.
And I put the name of the book in the chat too, for those who are live in the studio or who may be looking at this later. So this is it right here too. I do have the copy. So it's Home Equity and Reverse Mortgages, the Cinderella of the Baby Boomer Retirement. So yeah.
All the baby boomers. That's for
I'm gonna grab the link, and grab the link, grab the information from here, and I'm gonna put it on the end of our podcast, so people can always go and see it, the name of the book.
Awesome.
But appreciate you, girl. Now any update on what's going on in the regular mortgage world?
No, it's business as usual. The rates are holding steady right now in the 7th percentile range. There's still a plethora of money available at the state, county, and the city levels. So although Florida Hometown Heroes money is gone, money is still available. I just got to give a shout out. I just attended the conference, the National
NAMBA.
The National Association of Minority Mortgage Bankers of America, NAMBA.
NAMBA.
Just had our annual conference. It started Thursday and it just ended yesterday. It was awesome. And Mark Pease is one of the program managers at the Florida Housing Finance Corporation that administers Hometown Heroes. And they had a few workshops on the Home Finance Authority, across the nation. But in particular, they talked about what's going on in Florida and how that will be revisited, the money in 2024. And we'll see if it's going to still be open to all Floridians or if they'll go back and just kind of narrow down to certain professions. But that being said, they wanted everyone to know that there's still money available through bonds that they have too. So, but yeah, everything is pretty much, I say buy. You don't want to wait. If you are in a position to buy, to go ahead and do it, because that house that's worth $300,000 now may be worth $400,000. May cost you $400,000 later. So the waiting, you're just, you're losing equity. We're talking about equity, right?
Mm-hmm.
equity in an asset that could be bought now instead of next year. And the encouraging word is when the rates go down, you can refinance. That's what people do. That's par for the course. This is how it ebbs and flows. So don't wait. If you're in a position to buy it. Another good tidbit that Mark P shared at the NAMBA conference is that it's not the credit score, it's not the DTI, it's the down payment and closing costs that people have a problem of bringing to the table. Average credit score, guess what the average credit score was for over the 5,000 applicants for the Florida Hometown Hero Fund?
580.
Nope. It was over 700.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's a good score.
Wow.
If I remember correctly, I think it was 717 to be exact.
Wow.
But that's the point, is that people are paying bills, they're responsible.
Wow.
The ratio was there. It's the down payment and closing costs that people that's hindering them. That's why we need these programs to help with that, to get folks in houses.
All right. That says that. Any last words before we end the show? No last words?
Well, this was very informative.
Okay. It was.
Very informative to
That's
me.
what we do. We have to educate people.
Because this topic about reverse mortgage was something that I was scared of, because I've only heard the devastation part of it, never heard the good part. So Michelle brought that to light this evening, and I am looking forward to learn more and possibly use it.
That's right.
Awesome.
I appreciate you ladies for joining me on this episode of Your Voice Matters. Thank you for listening. See you on the next episode of Your Voice Matters.